Peace. Spears and Mike, some Zulu King L1. So, today is Memorial Day, and shout out to those that have served the country and paid, with their lives, sacrificed their life and their freedom for this land. You know what I mean? I'm not a patriot, but it is honorable and it's admirable to know that people have the bravery to fight for what they believe in, and some paid the ultimate cost by giving their life. So shout out to all the veterans and the people that have passed on. Um, on this day, for whatever reason, not to compare Zulu to, you know, um, the United States or compare the Zulu Nation to an army or anything like that, but for whatever reason, Memorial Day, I always think about, my loved ones that are no longer here. And I think about my Zulu brothers, that's been probably my greatest family outside of my, of course, immediate family, my daughters, my wife and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But every year since I've been Zulu, I always thought about the loved ones that we've lost within the family. And I just wanted to shout out, there's so many, and I wanted to write down names, because like I wanted to like really give honor and thanks to those that have been a part of the Universal Zulu Nation or the Zulu Union. You know what I'm saying? Because, some brothers lost their life defending the organization, some brothers um died in the field, and many brothers died due to health reasons or age or different, circumstances. But my love has not like ever faded away for these individuals. Um, you know, and forgive me if I forget anyone. I want to say that right now. There's probably a lot of people that I probably won't get to, you know, mention, but I will also like to say that, I'm gonna do my best off the top of the dome because I did want to write it, but I didn't want the reading of the names interfere with the flow and giving it the natural respect and honor, right? And this is no specific order because I named some brothers first or some sisters, whatever, whoever comes up first or throughout the duration of this conversation, they're all important to the family. Some more notable than others, some higher ranked than others, but everybody that contributed or participated within the Zulu Nation, within the Zulu Union, deserve great honor and respect for their time, their energy, and their efforts, at least in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So, for those of you who may just be tuning in for the first time, we talk about hip hop culture, we talk about knowledge, we talk about the streets, and we often talk about our experiences in the Zulu Nation or the Zulu Union. And I keep saying Zulu Nation, Zulu Union because, those that are familiar with the story know that we was a part of the Zulu Nation, Universal Zulu Nation to be specific, for many years, and then 10 years ago to this day we reorganized and separated due to the Africa Bambaataa scandal. But that's not here nor there. I'm just giving you some context of why I keep saying Zulu Nation or Zulu Union. All right, so I'm gonna start dropping names, and some of them I might give a little more detail, a little history on my interactions with them, my experiences with them. I don't want to make it too long and drawn out, but I do want to give a couple of names that I thought about today and I think about very often. I'll start with Zulu King Emmett from the Aliens chapter from Far Rockaway, New York. Probably one of my closest beloved brothers that I spent a lot of time with from joining the Zulu Nation to, his passing. The brother died, I believe, of a heart attack. And it was very shocking news when Zulu Queen Tweety, peace to the Queen Tweety, she called me and told me, Emmett passed away, and I was in shock because I had spoke to him a couple days before that. And he left behind a seed and a stepdaughter as well. And the brother had his own division of the aliens in Far Rockaway, Queens, and I used to go to Far Rockaway often. He used to come to Long Island often. When there was beef, man, that brother would come through and ready to do whatever. You know what I'm saying? The brother had a heart, but the more so than the heart for bravery, man, the brother gave extreme love. He told me he loved me often. And I told him the same thing. We expressed mutual love and respect for one another. Our families got along well. He was always at my crib. We spent a lot of time together, man, and I miss him dearly, and I love the brother now and forever. Um, R.I.P. Zulu King Emmett, one of the last aliens that was active in New York City. Peace to Muggsy, peace to T, some of his beloved brothers out in Far Rockaway that he dearly loved and spoke highly of, and good Zulu brothers at that, you know what I'm saying? Um, Drag from Z Gang, formerly Gestapo, formerly Elite, those that are familiar with Z Gang, they came out of Elite, they came out of Gestapo, and before that, they was originally, most of the original members were natives, and Drag and his brother Hunnit brought in a lot of great brothers. One of the greatest chapters, I think, in New York City history, if you ask me. Brought in brothers that became Zulu Kings, like Brother Zulu King Hood Humble. Drag was him and his brother Hunted, a force to be reckoned with. Them brothers is like 6'7", 6'8". You know what I'm saying? Straight out of Crown Heights, Brooklyn. Them brothers' energy was always peace, always love, man. Uh, Z Gang, the history from being elite to G's to forming their own in Z Gang. It's an iconic history, man, that Drag played a big role in. And the brother had passed away probably about 5 or so years ago, and it was a shocker to us. And you know what I'm saying, we love and respect our brother Drag, man, straight out of Z Gang from Crown Heights, Brooklyn, man. Respect, love, and honor now and forever. Peace. You know, um, Drag, man. Uh from chapter 25, formerly Gestapo, formerly Elite. He's been in every chapter that I've been in with me. O was the life of a party, very emotional, very another brother that told you he loved you and would challenge you. Was a wild brother to deal with, wild brother to discipline. It took a lot of patience to build him up. He was a brother that was a loose cannon, but with a great respect for Zulu. And I've been on some missions with the brother throughout my years to defend the family, and I gotta say that um I don't know a brother that was so more willing to lose his life, his freedom, or go to the battlefield, and do whatever it takes to defend the name, and he wasn't like overly super gangster. He was just a brother that loved Zulu and that was willing to put it all on the line, man, for the family, and I got so many memories. I could give a whole episode on O, and I probably will do that at some day because there's so many crazy stories about the brother. But what I can say, Miss Evelyn, his mom, we was given as a gesture of our love for O when he passed away. Every Thanksgiving, we was giving her like a turkey meal and some money that we collected from the brothers, and we did that for 10 years, and it was like more challenging to continue. He had just like he's just been passed away, I think, for 11 years, so we didn't do last Thanksgiving. It was our first, I think, Thanksgiving that we missed. But we just wanted to give her and let her know, like, during that time where she lost him, we wanted to give him, love, and we didn't forget him. So I know it was painful for her, so we were, you know, um, give her that, blessing for Thanksgiving for her and her family, man. And I would like to go back and continue that and stay connected to her and his brother and his family, man. Also known as Travis, you know what I'm saying, out in Green Lawn, New York, long-standing member of our family, man, respected and loved by many, many, many Zulus. I love you, brother, now and forever, man. Forever. Um, so we mentioned, right? We mentioned Emmett, we mentioned Drag, we mentioned O. I'll go into some of the elders, you know what I'm saying, and we'll bounce back and forth a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I might have to make a part two for this, you know what I mean? Um, Zulu King Lucky Strike, man. Lucky Strike was a hip hop historian, you know what I'm saying? A brother of Cuban descent, as he told me. I thought he was Puerto Rican, but he told me he was Cuban. So I would assume that's what the brother is, right? Um, I think he may have been a Savage Go. I kind of remember him telling me that. 'Cause I remember him telling me that I think he played Russian roulette to join. I don't know if that's true. I never heard nobody like tell me that story aside from him. And of course, if the brother's gonna tell me something, I'll take it to be true. You know what I'm saying? Um, but he one thing I could say about Lucky Strike, aside from him being super real, super serious about Zulu and being a hip hop historian, is that, one time when he met me when I was younger, I mean he saw me around a little bit, but he had confronted me at the Rocksteady Crew anniversary, and we had all these plastic red, black, and green beads on, right? And he was like, "Yo, what is that?" He was like, "That doesn't represent Zulu. Those are just plastic beads that you bought from the hardware store or arts and crafts store." He was like, "You need to get yourself a real medallion, something that represents Zulu." He says that looks like gang paraphernalia. You know what I'm saying? We can't have brothers out here looking sloppy, get yourself a patch. I sell them. So I was like, man, that's a great salesman. I'm thinking like, yo, and I bought some. Me and all the brothers, we bought them. He had glow in the dark joints. He had all types of graffiti with Zulu Nation with the laminate on it, all fly, fly stuff. He had a big disc one with a b-boy striking a pose. Um, and it says Zulu Nation. I mean, he had some real creative pieces, man. Dude had one of the most legendary iconic medallions and that you could think of. Him and Last Man probably had to have some of the best beadwork or medallion work that you could find in the whole Zulu. You know what I'm saying? Peace to the Zulu King Last Man. Um, from Calafia Zulus. So yeah, man, rest in peace, Lucky Strike. You know, a real respectable, honorable brother. I remember one last brief story. I remember I bumped into him at the Zulu anniversary one time because it's crowded. We got, you know, it's probably like 1,000 people in there, right? Probably like the fire code is double, probably 500 people. The limit, there's 1,000 people in there. And I took a step back because, when people like moving through whatever, they like, pardon me, excuse me. And I bumped into Lucky Strike and his drink. He was coming from the bar and he dropped two of his drinks and he looked up and he like had rage in his face. I guess he was thirsty or he wanted to drink them drinks. And he was like, "You lucky as you, because I love you." And I laughed and I said, "Yo, pardon me, I didn't mean to bump you." I said, "I'll buy you drinks." He said, "Nah, I got it." But he's like, "Only because it's you." He said, "If it wasn't you, I'll be spazzing." And I always remember that, you know what I'm saying? Like it was cool that, he gave me the respect. Lucky Strike, man. Rest in peace, man. A great one. A lot of people, love that brother for real. Very respected. Um, who else? Zulu King TC Islam. Let's get right into Zulu King TC Islam, the funky alien, the co-founder of the Alien chapter, the founder of Hip Step Zulus, the founder of the founder and creator of Hip Step, which is like a branch of dubstep music, like a jungle drum and bass offshoot. He was the spokesperson for the nation, founded some chapters in Connecticut, big following in Connecticut, big respect in New York, was always at the anniversaries performing, hosting, great energy, great knowledge. He commanded and spoke with authority. He's like the definition of a Zulu. Um, I would say, and I would say easily a top 10 respected Zulu of all time. You know what I'm saying? Um, Also the co-founder of the Elite chapter, as Silver Dollar told us that, what I'm saying, like that TC helped co-found Elite. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the exact specific role behind it, but that's what Silver Dollar told us. And Dollar is the co-founder of Zulu Gestapo, also with Spider. So, I could go on for days talking about TC, but, with respect to all the others that, I love and wanted to mention today, I just mentioned the brother, Zulu King Spider, who was a baby spade. and also the founder of the G's, Gestapo. Um, I met Spider, and he was a gentleman and a warrior, and I was surprised at how like intelligent. Like when you hear stories of certain brothers, especially from the G's, you think a brother's gonna be a savage. You know what I'm saying? Like a real brute. But that brother was a small gentleman, but you could tell he was fierce. You know what I'm saying? And you could tell like I greeted the brother and he, gave me some jewels or whatever, whispered to me, gave me some respect and love, told me he heard about me, heard good things, and that meant a lot for me, you know what I'm saying? Had my firm hand grip, you know what I'm saying? Probably my hand hurting from shaking his hand. And man, just a lot of legendary stories growing up in the Universal Zulu Nation at the National Black Theater. I would hear stories from Silver Dollar, often about Spider. A lot of people would talk about Spider. Raheem from the Furious Five, Grandmaster Flash from the Furious Five, he often spoke about Spider. He's like a legend in the streets, a legend in the Zulu Nation, and rest in peace to Zulu King Spider. I'm hoping maybe one day I could interview his wife and get some more details on the life of Spider, man. I did go to his services, and it was packed with spades, a lot of flower arrangements with roses in the spade, like the spade there in roses, uh dozens, I mean, if not hundreds of spades in the building for that, to see that brother, you know off respectfully, man. So rest in peace, Zulu King Spider. I'll go into someone from my peer group, Zulu King Big Lord, aka Zero. Chapter 16. Chapter 16 is I was glad that they were reorganized by Biggie. R.I.P. to him too. Zulu King Biggie was a real one. Very humble, respectful. Biggie was good, and I think Big Lord was like a reflection of Zulu King Biggie. So originally I believe Big Lord was chapter 25, Cayenne chapter, in the Bronx. And I know I'm chapter 25, but at the time, I didn't know. I heard of Cayenne Zulus, but I didn't know that they went by the number chapter 25. I would have never picked that number had I known it had an extensive history. But the brother Big Lord, formerly then known as Zero, which I think is a dope name. Any name with a Z at the beginning, I think is a dope name. Big Lord was a humble, respectful brother, man, very dedicated at every universal meeting, every anniversary, very close to Yoda. Was a brother that was kind of like under Yoda's wing and just, like rose up, got his kingship and well deserved, you know what I'm saying? Got his kingship, became the regional director for New York. Eventually, um, I took over for him doing that role shortly after, he did it for a while. And he helped me with that role as well, and he was supportive of it, even after, having the position given away to me right after him. He was in complete, help, you know what I'm saying? And some of my members transferred over to chapter 16. Um, and we spoke about these things, and it was nothing to me. Like, I don't care. Like, a brother leaves the chapter, wants to go to another chapter, like, let him go. If that works out better for him. And Big Lord was just a humble, respectful, good brother, man. That I can't say nothing bad about him. You know what I'm saying? Never gave me bad energy. Towards the end, when we went over to the Zulu Union and reorganized on that side, he respectfully declined. I think he was a brother that was just dedicated to people that he loved, dedicated to Yoda, dedicated to Bam. And, I kind of distanced myself from him, and I kind of wish I didn't, because, we all make our choices, right? We made our choice to reorganize and separate from the family, and he made his choice to stay. And I should have given it more respect and stayed connected with him. So I wish I would have did that. But rest in peace, Zulu King Big Lord. While I'm there, I had already mentioned Zulu King Biggie from chapter 16. I'm also gonna mention chapter Zulu Queen Sapphire from chapter 16. Zulu Queen Sapphire. Um, the father of her children is Zulu. I don't want to reveal his name out of respect, but everybody knows. Peace to you, good brother. G's up. Um, I tell you like this. Sapphire was such a humble and sweet soul. Um, very loving, and I say that about all my Zulu sisters that, stuck around. Very sweet, very loving, very caring, always had a good, positive energy. And she was just there. She did great work with Mark Love, Zulu King Mark Love out of LA Zulus. And they reorganized all the infinity lessons into books. And she worked on the Zulu library, and they did an incredible job, man. Peace to Mark Love, and rest in peace to Sapphire. Sapphire's daughter, she passed away as well. And we love Sapphire and her family, Danny, Princess Danny, Sapphire. Um, we got the greatest respect and love for you both you queens. And man, it's hard to replace a sister that was so impactful and such a, such a beautiful heart. Um, but my thoughts are often with her, and prayers are often, with her, for her and her family. I can't imagine, losing the mother, the daughter, and it hurt a lot of us, and a lot of Zulus bonded at these services. And it was actually, I think, the last time when Danny had passed at a memorial in the Bronx, somewhere in Soundview section, that park. I don't know what it's called. I forgot the name, but it's by the water. Um, it kind of like overlooks the bridge. Was like the last time I saw Yoda. I had to talk with him for the first time in a long time since the Zulu Union was formed. And let's get into Zulu King Yoda. Again, you know, we'll never forget you, Queen Sapphire, Danny. Our love goes to Nico, Zulu King Nico, uh, always. You know what I'm saying? Zulu King Yoda, member of the Crash Crew, legendary hip hop group. Yoda was around with Red Dragon, ever Universal. Them brothers were inseparable. Yoda was like a brother that just really spent a lot of time with us young Zulus, man, just giving us love, giving us direction, giving us guidance. Really built us up from like men, from boys to men. You know what I'm saying? Um, I would say Yoda gotta be a top 10 Zulu, top 15 Zulu of all time. He liked to joke around a lot, but when it came to Zulu and came to his family, he was very serious. But he did know how to have a good laugh, and he would break the ice, joking around with us a lot. He was more of a lighthearted brother, not so much serious or uptight. You know what I'm saying? I really miss him, and I wish that, things didn't take place the way they did with the whole scandal. Because at that point, me and the elders, we stopped speaking, due to the politics behind it and brother standing on business. And, ultimately, we don't know what was right or what was wrong, Allah knows best. But, brothers drew lines in sand and we just stay committed to what we did, Zulu Union, UZN. Brothers stay committed to what they was doing on that side. We stay committed to doing what we were on our side. I watched Yoda's daughter grow up. I don't know how she's doing. I hope she's doing good. I hope she hears this and knows that, many young Zulus got the utmost respect for Yoda then till now, you know. Um, I'll go into my brother CJ from G's. We was elite. We was G's. One of my first members, I put him down when he was 15. I was 17 years old. The brother shed a lot of blood for me and a lot of blood with me in the battlefield, defending the family, representing Zulu. When we had opposition, strong people that didn't like what we were doing in the community, man. CJ stood tall as a brave warrior, man, and he shed a lot of blood of the enemy. He shed a lot of his own blood during the battlefields. And I love CJ, and I could go on for days to talk about my experiences with him. He was a brother that was super loyal, super dedicated, and he would be down to lose his life in a heartbeat for the family. But beyond that, he was also a loving father to his child. He loved his wife, Maria. She passed away. CJ went through a lot of battles in life, and I always strive to be there for him throughout everything. And, the brother passed away before his 40th birthday, and it's left a void in my heart and my soul because I've been through so much with him with Zulu, you know what I'm saying? And I wish him and O were still here with me, I'll feel more complete, you know what I'm saying? But, rest in peace, CJ from G's. I love you, brother, now and forever. Uh, Nut Boogie from Chosen 33, Shaka Zulu Nut from the Bronx died. I think it was in the newspaper. I think a homeless man attacked him, if I recall correctly. Um, a real warrior, a real G, a real Zulu, a real Chosen, dedicated to Zulu. I remember one time, one of the I'll tell you a quick story about Nut. We were doing Zulu Shaka Zulu security, and there was a brother that was a off-duty or just retired police lieutenant that had been Zulu like his whole life, never stopped being Zulu, but he was doing security, and I guess every police knew him because every time a cop car pulled up to the anniversary, he's at the front there. He got the hammer on him. He got the walkie-talkie with us. And he was making sure everything was nice and safe at the Zulu anniversary. And this is during the time Matthew Hall had just been killed out in Harlem. And when Matt Hall passed, we were on high alert for security. And Nut Boogie came with the thing on him, and I could talk about it because he's no longer here with us. Um, but he didn't tell the lieutenant, and I forgot that brother's name. Um, but peace to him. He was at the door, and Nut tried to sneak the hammer in, and he found it right away, and he put Nut in the handcuffs, and he got on the walkie-talkie, and I was the first one to hear it, so I ran downstairs, and like, yo, somebody got a gun down here, somebody's armed, come down. We come running down, Nuts there in handcuffs, sitting on the floor, and he's like, he's with y'all? He's like, yeah. We like, yeah, he shot the Zulu. He's like, well, why he didn't tell me that? And he lifted him up and he uncuffed him, right? And gave the strap to somebody. I ain't gonna say his name. Gave the strap away, right? And he's, well, why didn't the brother tell me? And Nut was like, well, I didn't know who you was, if you was police, or what you was, you know what I mean? You got the hammer on you. I see all these police talking to you. You frisking me. I'm trying to hide the hammer in, but I'm Shaka Zulu. And you're like, all right, well, you're gonna get it back at the end of the day. You gotta be honest with me and let me know you armed. So whatever. Nut was pissed. He was wondering if he was gonna get the hammer back. He got it back. That brother was just, man, he was a real one, man. Dedicated to Chosen, dedicated to Shaka Zulu. So R.I.P. Nut from Chosen Zulu, man. I hope that story that I told of his wasn't, a disservice or a dishonor to the beautiful brother he was. But I just know him from that Shaka Zulu light, so I just wanted to say that, you know what I mean? Because it's kind of like a crazy story. I'll never forget it. But, I'm sure Acer and Prism and other brothers from Chosen could speak other stories of his that will be beautiful. You know what I mean? But again, rest in peace, Chosen. Rest in peace, Nut Boogie. Uh, so let's see. Who can we talk about? I mentioned quite a few people. Zulu Rahim, Shaka Zulu Rahim. Rahim was, I think, the founder of H2O Zulu. Originally, I think maybe the founder of Chapter 2, and then I believe it became H2O out in New Jersey. And if you listen to one of our previous episodes from a couple episodes ago, our Zulu brother Jay Crush talked about Raheem. And Raheem was a brother from New Jersey that was at every Universal meeting with the uniform on, the walkie-talkie, the gloves. The brother was fierce, man, a real serious brother, but very humble, very respectful, very loving. You know what I'm saying? Like I told Jay Crush on the episode that I wish I had a father like the brother Raheem. Super dedicated, man. Passed away, and one of the elders that I had a real lot of love for. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, Raheem. Um, Zulu King Lord Sharif, one of the first brothers that came into the UZN that was dealing with the Moorish science. I think he introduced it to Africa Bambaataa. You could check out his episode. We have two episodes with him. I think it's episode 15 and 16, if I recall. They're about an hour long each. Very detailed. He was originally a baby spade. Eventually, came into the Universal Zulu Nation at its inception. Because like Sharif was a baby spade, Bambaataa was a baby spade, Silver Dollar was a baby spade, I believe Spider was a baby spade. So a lot of them baby spades came up together, and a lot of them became Zulu, as it appears to be. I don't know about all of them. I can't speak on that, but many of them, or very many notable people, came from the baby spades and joined the Universal Zulu Nation in its inception. And Lord Sharif, I knew him as the co-captain of Shaka Zulu. He had the same ring as Zulu King Tawfiq. They both had the 5-point star with the crescent moon. That's probably the same ring that I think you see Malcolm X wear when he was a part of the NOI. Lord Sharif had that ring, and so did Tawfiq. And I used to see Sharif, he would show us, he said, there's only two people with this ring. So recognize who I am in this organization. And he didn't say it disrespectfully, but he was a brother with great stature and great respect. And throughout the years, me and him spent a good amount of time building on the history. He really respected what we did in forming the Zulu Union. And in fact, before his passing, which I believe happened in North Carolina or South Carolina, he had told me that he wanted to start the Shaka Zulus and be in charge of the Shaka Zulus in the Zulu Union. And then while we were building on that, the details on that, the brother passed away, and gave me a lot of jewelry, a lot of support, and a lot of stories that I cherish. Check out those episodes, episode 15 and 16. Um, I'll probably do one more person, and let me see who that could be. We'll go. Let's see. Let's see. Well, it's been a long night, and this has been a long episode, right? So I promise you this. I got a lot more names to mention. A lot more names to mention. So this is gonna be part one. I'll come back, inshallah. I'll do a part two and go into more detail because there's still a lot of heavyweights, a lot of greats, a lot of notable people that I had to give honor and respect to. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. For those that are subscribed to us on YouTube, know that these episodes are available on Apple Music, Spotify, um, basically anywhere you get your audio podcast from. We're available to listen, so you don't have to see my face or our faces when we host it. You could just listen to the audio, a lot easier. For those listeners, though, if you're on the audio platforms, give us a 5-star review if you think we're worth it. If you're on YouTube and you're here for the first time learning about the Zulu Union, reach out to me at zulukingl@gmail.com. Reach out to me, in the comment section. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Just support us, show love, man. Just preserving the history of a great organization that's dear to me, that we put a lot of work and a lot of effort into. And I hope you enjoy these stories, man. Peace and love. Part two coming soon. Zulu Memorial. Peace.